We want to begin now with some breaking news. Rapper Lil Durk is charged in a for hire plot.
What if I told you the internet's hottest prison release date, Lil Durk's rumored return on March 15th, 2026, might be the biggest bait-and-switch hip-hop has ever seen? Because overnight, what started as a so-called leak from deep inside the system turned into a wildfire of chaos, speculation, betrayal, and digital warfare. Durk's fans, Durk Nation, went into meltdown mode. People called off work, merch stores flipped countdowns, Discords turned into decode hubs, TikTok and Twitter X were flooded with videos claiming to have confirmation straight from inside the walls. But here's the catch: nobody official said a word. And then came the curveball. A muffled voice memo surfaces, whispering, "It's not the date, it's the distraction." Suddenly, the drop wasn't just about a release. It was about a message, a warning, maybe even a setup, and fans are split. Is this Durk's team running a masterclass in viral rollout, or is someone sabotaging his legacy from the shadows? What's even wilder, alleged insiders started turning on each other. One claimed the label is behind it. Another swore a rival rapper planted the leak. Screenshots, audio clips, mysterious codenames, secret Instagram accounts, it's full digital mayhem. And you haven't even heard the biggest twist yet, because the most viral clip, it's not about when Durk comes home, it's about whether he even wants to. Yeah, you read that right. Something deeper is going on, and by the end of this video, you're going to see the full picture. Why fans are calling this Leakgate, how Durk's silence is fueling the fire, and what this viral war means for the future of hip-hop rollouts. Stick around, because if the rumors are fake, the truth might be way more dangerous. It all started like most internet storms do, with a whisper, not from a verified source, not from a manager, label, or legal team. Just a message. An ordinary Discord user in a Lil Durk fan group typed 7 words. "He's coming home March 15th, bro." No proof, no links, just the kind of quiet confidence that made people stop scrolling. And somehow, those 7 words exploded into one of the most viral, divisive, and chaotic rap stories of the year. Within 12 hours, Durk release date was trending on X. Hashtags like #DurkWatch, #March 15th, and #DurkBack flooded timelines. A few fans made TikToks with captions like, "It's finally happening," over dramatic slow-motion edits of Durk's mugshots dissolving into his old performances. And that was just the beginning. By midnight, blogs started picking it up. Not the big ones yet, just the rumor sites, the street pages, the digital corners that always know too much. YouTube Shorts creators went crazy. One channel posted a countdown with the title, "Durk's official release date confirmed by Leak Unlocked Fire," and within an hour, it had 62,000 views. Nobody was asking if it was real yet. The energy wasn't cautious. It was hungry, the kind of hope-starved hunger only real fans understand. And in the middle of that energy, the so-called leak turned into gospel. Even without evidence, people were feeling it. Screenshots started circulating, allegedly from someone inside State Correctional Institution Phoenix, the same facility where Durk was rumored to be held. One message read, "They already prepping him for release. They moved him to the low-security unit. That's always step one." No verified accounts confirmed it, but nobody cared. Someone posted a blurry photo, looked like a hallway, maybe a prison block, and wrote, "Lil Durk's last walk through C-Wing. March 15th is real, let's go." The photo was grainy, probably fake, but it went mega viral. It wasn't about the image, it was the caption. People needed something to believe in. And when belief meets emotion, facts lose every time. By the next morning, fan pages were designing their own Welcome Home Durk merch. Hoodies, tees, keychains. Etsy sellers launched limited drops with clocks ticking down to the minute of March 15th. Twitter users posted threads decoding old Durk lyrics they swore hinted at this exact date. One tweet said, "Y'all remember in Finesse Out the Gangway when he said, 'Time move fast, March don't wait'? That was the clue." Y'all sleep? The tweet got 30,000 likes. Even though the actual lyric was completely different, nobody corrected it. The narrative was rolling downhill with no breaks. Then came the voice messages. Allegedly from people close to his team. The first one was crackly, almost like it was recorded over a phone in a loud room. The voice was low, serious. "Yeah, the 15th, he already signed release forms. Quiet rollout." No press. The audio clip made its way to TikTok and racked up over 1.3 million views in a day. Was it really someone from inside? No one could say, but it sounded real enough. And sometimes, real enough is all it takes. By this point, Durk Nation was fully locked in. Some fans were staying up all night in live spaces talking about what his first IG post back would be. Others were editing fake Durk home news reports and posting them as leaks from TMZ. Every fake tweet, every AI-generated video, every unconfirmed post just added more fuel. And the more it spread, the more legit it felt. People forgot there had been no official confirmation. The line between rumor and reality had vanished, and then things got even more intense. An account popped up out of nowhere calling itself Durk's Cell Maddie88. No profile pic, no bio, just 2 posts. The first read, "I've been next to Durk for 4 months. Y'all don't know the half." The second post dropped a fake prison meal tray photo and said, "Last meal before the walk, he nervous but ready." Fans went insane. Comments flooded in. "Yo, post a vid, drop a voice note, give us proof." But the account vanished an hour later, deleted, just gone, and that made it even more believable. Fans said he got silenced, that the feds shut him down, that Durk's team was trying to stop the leaks. Then one TikToker, user at ShireQueen87, posted a reaction video claiming her cousin's boyfriend's brother worked janitorial at the same facility and overheard staff talking about Durk getting paperwork for transfer. Again, no real proof. But the video blew up. She had a Chicago accent, she seemed believable, and people ran with it. The story took on a life of its own. Behind the scenes, industry heads were watching, quietly. A few small bloggers claimed to reach out to Durk's label for comment, but got nothing. No denials, no confirmations, just silence. And silence is gasoline when a rumor's already lit. Some said the silence was proof the label was planning a surprise drop. Others said Durk was trying to make his return bigger than rap, no press, no warning, just impact. And others, skeptics mostly, said it was all cap. A social media stunt, a rollout, clout bait, but those voices were drowned in the chaos. Meanwhile, fan energy kept building. Accounts launched a number Durk drop watch Twitter space that stayed live for 72 hours straight. Rotating hosts, fan debates, conspiracy theories, people analyzing past interviews, screenshots of his tattoos, even the time codes on old mugshots to try to match patterns to March 15th. One user even went full 4chan style and claimed that if you take the dates of Durk's last 5 album releases, add the digits, divide by 3, and then subtract the year of his arrest, it equals 315. People reposted it like it was gospel, but for every fan hyped up, there were voices getting worried. Some said this kind of speculation was dangerous, that fans might turn on Durk if March 15th came and went with no release. One user wrote, "Y'all building him up so high, if this don't happen, the crash gon' be ugly." Others said they didn't care if it was real, they just needed hope. For a lot of fans, it wasn't about the facts, it was about the feeling. Durk represented something bigger than music, a comeback, a second chance, a king reclaiming his throne, and people wanted to believe, but not everyone was playing fair. Clout chasers started making fake statements, copying Durk's old IG captions and editing them to make it seem like he confirmed the date. One viral post showed a photoshopped post from his close friend's story with the words, "I'm back March 15th. Y'all ready?" But reverse image searches showed the background photo was from a 2020 photo shoot. Didn't matter. It had already been reposted to tens of thousands of accounts by the time someone fact-checked it. Nobody cared about receipts. They cared about hype. Even fake news sites got involved. One ran a completely made-up headline. Lil Durk's legal team confirms March 15th release amidst online hype. It looked like a real press article. Fancy formatting, fake author name, stock photo of a courtroom, but the website URL. DurkFreeNow.biz, totally fake. Still, it got 100,000 views in 12 hours. The article was shared by influencers, reaction channels, and even a few verified accounts before it got debunked. And again, the damage was done. People believed what they wanted to believe. At this point, the rumor wasn't just a rumor, it had evolved into a movement, a belief system, an online mythology. And what made it so powerful wasn't the claim, it was the community built around it. Live streams, prayer circles, TikToks of people reacting to fake release clips like they were real. People crying, people celebrating. People putting their real emotions into something that hadn't even been confirmed. That's how powerful Durk's name had become. And Durk, still completely silent. No tweet, no repost, no voice note, no official statement. Just digital silence, which made the fans go even harder. They said he was being silenced. They said the label was holding back the announcement to make it bigger. They said maybe, just maybe, Durk himself was the one behind the leak, testing his fans' loyalty. The theories were endless, but the hype unstoppable. And no matter how wild the story got, one thing was now clear: this wasn't just about a date. This was about a movement, one that had already taken on a life of its own. It should have been just another viral internet moment, right? A rumor, a date, some fan theories, and a little clout chasing sprinkled in. But what came next turned everything upside down. Because as the hype peaked, the betrayal hit, and it hit hard. Just when everyone was locked in on March 15th, screenshots leaked from an anonymous X account with the handle @RealReleaseIntel. The account only posted once. It showed what looked like internal messaging between two people connected to Durk's legal team. One of the messages read, "They're running with the false date. Let it ride. Good engagement. Push the merch." The other replied, "You wild." He not even close to clearing. Faced with tears of joy, that post detonated the fanbase like a stick of dynamite in a gas station. Suddenly, the narrative flipped. Was the release date never real? Were fans being played for engagement? For views, for merch sales, the betrayal stung. This wasn't just a theory anymore, it was an emotional investment for thousands of people who believed they were part of something real. Within minutes, TikTok went into chaos. Reaction channels began reposting the alleged leak with titles like "Durk's team lied" and "We got used for clicks." Durk Nation split down the middle. On one side, the faithful, the true believers who said the leaks were fake and the date was still real. On the other, the betrayed, angry, embarrassed, and ready to call the whole thing a setup. "Y'all really think we stupid?" one fan posted on IG stories. "They've been feeding us clues and hype just to sell hoodies and fake countdown clocks." SMH, another, wrote, "If Durk ain't home on the 15th, I'm out. That's it for me. Legacy tarnished." Amid the tension, old wounds started reopening. People brought up past situations, old beefs, past tweets, silent feuds within OTF. Every piece of drama got re-examined like it was part of some bigger puzzle. One fan posted a side-by-side of two old IG stories Durk posted in 2024, one with a clock emoji, the other with just 15. That got retweeted 80,000 times, with fans saying the clues were there all along. Others called it stretching. The point was clear. The trust was fractured, and every faction was trying to make sense of the mess in their own way. Even Durk's peers got dragged into it. Fans began at-ing other Chicago rappers. "Why y'all quiet about Durk?" one fan tweeted at Lil Baby, saying, "Real ones speak up. Why you ghosting us?" When he didn't reply, they turned on him too. "Fake love," one post read. "Durk carried y'all, and now?" Silence. The pressure was boiling everywhere. Nobody knew who to believe anymore. And then came the ultimate fan betrayal. One account, @DurkLeaksDaily, which had built a huge following over the past year, got exposed. Turned out they had been faking insider access the whole time, using ChatGPT to generate leaked messages and photoshopping fake DMs from industry figures. When they got caught, fans went into full digital riot mode. "You had me out here defending you in group chats," one user wrote. "Bro had us believing prison walls had Wi-Fi," said another. The trust was gone, and in the ashes of all that energy and emotion, one big question hovered over everything like a ghost. Who really leaked the date? Because the closer you looked, the stranger it got. Too many accounts were using similar language. Too many insiders were dropping info at the same exact time. It didn't feel organic anymore, it felt coordinated. But coordinated by who? Some said it was just a perfect storm. Others believed it was an inside job, a rogue staffer, a bitter ex-friend, a rival. Even a few people speculated that the leak was part of a rival rapper's PR play. That Durk was being used as a pawn in someone else's story. Conspiracies flew, emotions flared, and fans started turning on each other. People who had been posting Durk fan edits for years were now getting accused of riding the wave for views. Others were mass blocked for spreading false hope. Old fan communities split. Some banned leak discussion entirely. Others doubled down and created reformed leak squads with better rules, stricter evidence policies, and moderators. The entire movement started to feel like a battlefield, but through it all, one thing remained the same. Silence from Durk himself, not even a quote, not even a like, just a void. A void so loud it started sounding like a message in itself. Was he watching it all from a distance, laughing, hurting? Or maybe, just maybe, orchestrating? Nobody knew, and that mystery became the fuel. Because if you can't trust the date, or the leak, or the fans, then maybe the only person with the real answer is the one who hasn't said a word. And just when the internet thought it had been played for the last time, just when fans were starting to fall back, delete posts, and move on from the chaos, the story twisted again. Quiet at first, a whisper, a flicker, a moment, then boom. Full explosion. It started with a single post from a forgotten account at OTF Decoder Files, a page that hadn't posted in almost a year. No profile pic, no story, just one reel. A black screen with audio playing behind it. The caption said only, "He never said March 15. Y'all decoded the wrong clue." The video was 18 seconds, no visuals, just audio, muffled, crackly, and unmistakably real. A man's voice, low and steady, almost like he was speaking through a phone under a blanket. Tell him not the date, but the detail. They focused on the wrong drop. They missed the whole play. The post vanished 10 minutes after going up. Deleted, gone, but not before it was screen recorded, reposted, chopped into 1,000 different edits, and blown across TikTok, X, and Reddit. Now people weren't talking about a release date. They were talking about a message, something buried deeper, something fans had missed because they were too distracted by the hype. Not the date, but the detail. What detail? What was the real drop? Theories shot out instantly. One thread on Reddit claimed the March 15 date was actually a code for a song, not a release date. Another fan said they played the voice message backwards and heard the words "verse is live." That TikTok got over 5 million views in 2 days. Comments flooded in. Wait, this whole time we've been waiting for Durk to walk out, but maybe he's already been back in the booths. The twist flipped the entire narrative. Now the March 15 believers weren't saying he's coming home. They were saying he's coming on a track. And then boom, another drop. A fan account at Durk Clue Central released a supposed decryption map showing that the March 15 numbers had been posted before, way back in 2023, during a Loki IG Live Durk did where he showed his studio monitor with a calendar. On that calendar, March 15th circled in red with the words "last verse." Coincidence? Maybe, but to Durk Nation it felt like a clue they'd missed. All along, people thought they were decoding a prison release, but now it looked like the leak was about music. A feature, or maybe a surprise track drop, or even a diss. Suddenly, everything resurfaced. Those cryptic lyrics fans had been dissecting before, they hit different now. Especially one bar from a 2022 snippet that had never been officially released. "They think I'm trapped, I'm just watching him tweet / I could drop from the cell, still light up the street." That line, it spread like wildfire. "He told us back then," one fan posted in all caps. "Y'all just wasn't listening." The song became legend before it was even real. Fan edits layered it over images of prison bars dissolving into microphones. People were saying, "Forget a release date, Durk never left." He been back. The switch from physical release to musical resurrection was complete, but it didn't end there. 2 days later, the biggest twist yet, a private audio file leaked onto a locked Telegram channel. The file name? March 15 Final Cut WAV. It was only 42 seconds long, a hard-hitting, unmixed track clearly recorded remotely. The voice, Lil Durk, no doubt. The lyrics. "Say the date like I said the name / but this ain't parole. This a verse with flame / they decoded wrong. They just played the game / but the boss move quiet while the world go insane." That clip hit like a gunshot in a library. The reaction was instant. Every fan theory blew wide open. It wasn't about him getting out of prison. It was about him sending a message while he was still in. A chess move, a power play, a silent drop in the middle of the loudest storm. One fan tweeted, "Durk dropped a verse that got more people screaming than a whole album rollout. That's power." Even music insiders started reacting. DJs and bloggers said they'd heard whispers about a verse being passed through private channels. "It's going to be the most replayed 16 bars of the year," one blog posted. But who was it for? That's when things got even messier. Some fans said it was a collab, that the verse would appear on an upcoming track by Meek Mill, Lil Baby, or even Can I. Others thought it was a diss aimed at someone who'd betrayed him. A few pointed fingers at rival artists who had gone silent during the leak storm. Maybe this whole thing was bait, one fan theorized. Get everyone watching March 15th, then boom, track drops and exposes everything. Another posted, "Durk used the fake release to launch the real release. That's next level." People weren't just talking anymore. They were decoding again. They played the leaked WAV on loop, listening for clues, slowed it down, sped it up. Some thought they heard names in the background. One user swore they heard a faint Metro tag buried under the beat. Others said it sounded like a Drake-style sample. One TikTok went viral with the caption, "Did Durk just cook the verse of the year from prison?" And the comments, thousands deep. the streets were watching again. Not for a prison gate opening, but for a track to drop. But even as fans celebrated the twist, some felt uneasy. Because with this revelation came a darker question: had the whole release date leak been a setup, a smoke screen? A way to shift focus? And if so, who was pulling the strings? Was this really Durk's plan? Or had someone else hijacked the narrative and played both fans and media alike? One theory pointed to someone within his own team, a so-called ghost marketer, someone paid to stir chaos, control engagement, and steer the spotlight toward a controlled moment. If that was true, it worked. Others, though, weren't convinced. They believed Durk had nothing to do with the leak and that the verse leak was him taking the power back. One fan account posted, "Durk saw the circus and instead of denying it, he dropped a nuclear bomb. Now y'all talking about the music again, mission complete." But even that wasn't the end. Because the verse, it wasn't just hot, it was personal. People started breaking down the bars and finding lines that hinted at betrayal, lines that seemed to be calling out someone close to him. "You leaked my path just to chase your fame / now you ghost when the heat came back with my name." That bar set the internet off. Theories dropped by the hour. Some said it was a direct shot at a former collaborator. Others claimed it was a family member. One user even posted side-by-side screenshots of old tweets from Durk's cousin who had posted that he didn't approve of the hype. "He was talking about her," the caption read. Thousands agreed. Now the entire conversation had shifted from Free Durk to Who Betrayed Durk, from countdown clocks to lyric dissections, from fake hope to real heat. The leak, the verse, the silence, the sudden twists, it all felt orchestrated, intentional, masterful. Fans said it was like watching a Netflix series drop its plot twist mid-season. But it wasn't fiction, at least not all of it, and that's what made it powerful. This wasn't just another rapper trendjacking his way through social media noise. This was legacy chess. Control the narrative, shift the focus, and remind the world that Durk, whether inside or out, still moves the culture. And still no official confirmation. No full track, no label announcement, no press release. The leaked verse, never claimed, never reposted, just left to live and breathe in the shadows of the fanbase that had gone through war to hear it. But one thing was certain: the March 15th rumor may have been fake, but the impact was very real. And now, nobody knew what to expect next. Would the full track drop? Would the name behind the betrayal be revealed? Would Durk speak publicly? Or would he keep letting the silence speak louder than anything else? All anyone knew was this: the game had changed. And if Durk could shake the world with 16 bars in the middle of a storm of misinformation, imagine what's coming next. The aftermath wasn't just messy, it was nuclear. The moment that verse leaked, everything changed. The internet didn't just react, it divided, combusted, and never really settled. Some fans were celebrating like they just got gifted a new album. Others felt scammed all over again. Because now the question wasn't just, when is Durk getting out? It was he ever really supposed to come out at all? The silence from his camp only made it worse. There was no denial, no confirmation, just absence. But this time, the silence didn't sound passive. It sounded strategic, like a message being sent without a single word. And that silence, it broke the internet in two. On one side, you had the believers. The ones who claimed the verse was part of a rollout all along. "He told y'all, we've been saying it's not about prison, it's about power, it's about control." These fans weren't backing down, they doubled down. Fan edits hit TikTok showing Durk walking out of a prison door synced to that leaked verse. Except the footage was AI generated, but nobody cared. The illusion was stronger than the truth. Millions watched, millions commented. "This better go official, free or not, he's clearly in control." People were moved, hyped, crying, reposting. Then there was the other side, the skeptics. The ones who felt like they got caught in an emotional bear trap and weren't letting it happen again. They called the verse damage control, said it was a PR move to salvage what had become a chaotic internet circus. That verse was clean for a leak, one user wrote. Too clean. He dropped that knowing exactly what he was doing. Y'all got played again. Those fans were angry, not just at Durk but at each other, at the media, at YouTubers, at TikTokers, at every clout chaser who had posted countdowns and leaked confirmations. The betrayal from part 2 was still lingering, and this new twist only made it sharper. Fan groups started splintering, old Discord communities were shut down, Reddit threads locked, Twitter spaces that used to host 24/7 decoding sessions, silent. The energy wasn't gone, it was fractured. And into that fracture came opportunists. Fake accounts popped up again, some claiming to have the second verse. others promising the real release date if you subscribe to their newsletter or join their Telegram group. Scammers cashed in on the chaos. One user admitted they bought a Durk verse NFT for $250 thinking it was an exclusive leak, only to realize it was just an AI-voiced fake. Meanwhile, the TikTok wars began. On one side, viral creators with millions of followers swearing the audio came from a burner SoundCloud that had since been deleted. Others insisted it was planted by the label. One influencer even posted a breakdown video showing the waveform of the leaked audio side by side with a known Durk verse, claiming to prove it was recorded at the same mastering frequency, whatever that meant. The video was bogus, but it still got 1.6 million views. That's all it took to go viral in this kind of firestorm. Say something with confidence, back it up with a vibe, and the algorithm does the rest. But deeper than the views, something more personal was unraveling. Fans started turning on each other. Friends unfollowed friends. Durk ain't never said he was getting out, one fan screamed in a space. Y'all built this whole fantasy in your heads and now you mad he didn't show up at the imaginary party you threw? Harsh, but it resonated. The community that once stood together under number-free Durk was now eating itself alive. Then came the industry response. Quiet, slick, strategic. A few big artists posted cryptic emojis, flames, clocks, keys, nothing tagged, no names dropped, just enough to keep the conversation spinning. And that only made fans dig deeper. He's coming, they'd say. They're teasing it now, watch. Even brands started playing along. One streetwear label dropped a limited run jacket with the back embroidered. Wrong drop, right time, sold out in 3 minutes. Genius. Meanwhile, Durk's own team, still silent, nothing on the label's page, no comments, no captions, not even a repost of the viral audio. Which in a way made it even more real. They weren't denying it. They weren't validating it, just letting the internet cook. And cook it did. 1 week after the verse leaked, a new rumor hit. Durk was no longer at the facility fans believed he was in. A supposed insider claimed he'd been moved to a federal location weeks earlier, before the March 15th date even started trending. That leak sent shockwaves. So the release date was never real because the prison wasn't even the same. People were stunned. We've been decoding a building he wasn't even in. It became the new theory spiral. Fans found satellite photos, dug into court documents, started mapping out transfer schedules from other known cases. It was like a true crime forum, but make it hip-hop. Then something even weirder happened. A new video surfaced, not of Durk, of someone else. A man in a mask, sitting in a dark room, voice distorted, posted on a locked IG story under the handle at The Yard Whisperer. He said he had Durk's real release date. That the March 15th wave was the first test. He claimed part 2 was already in motion and only the real fans would know where to look. The story vanished in minutes, but again, screen recordings, reposts, breakdowns. The mystery deepened. Was it a game? Was it Durk? Was it another clout chaser in disguise? Nobody knew, and nobody could stop watching. At this point, the conversation wasn't about a release anymore. It was about control. About manipulation. About how one rapper, locked away and completely silent, managed to dominate every algorithm without a single official post. News channels picked it up. How Lil Durk broke the internet from behind bars, one headline read. Is this the new blueprint for rapper relevance? Asked another. YouTubers did entire essays breaking down the psychological impact of viral misinformation in music culture. Commentators compared the leak cycle to a religion. You had prophets, you had disciples, you had non-believers, you had betrayal, and then came the revelation. Still, no one really knew the truth. Was the voice real? Was the leak real? Was the betrayal real, or was it all part of a bigger design? The thing was, nobody could prove anything, and that's where the story stayed, suspended in viral limbo. One part tragedy, one part marketing genius, one part performance art, and a whole lot of confusion. But even with all the noise, one thing was clear: Durk's name had never been louder, and in the world of rap, volume is power. Whether he was physically locked up or already planning a secret return, Durk had shown that silence could scream louder than a rollout. That a rumor could become a movement, that music, even a fragment of it, could unite and destroy fan bases in a single bar. So where are we now? Well, March 15th came and went, no public appearance, no new mugshots, no press. No confirmation. The leaked verse never got officially released, but it lives everywhere. On TikToks, in fan edits, in reaction videos, in decoded YouTube essays. The impact is undeniable. Some say he's home, but hiding. Some say he's still locked, working behind the scenes. Others believe March 15th was never meant to be literal at all. Maybe it was a metaphor, a symbol, a message. Maybe it was always about shifting the narrative, taking power back from the labels, the press, and the timeline. And now we wait, because after all the leaks, all the betrayal, all the twists, there's still no resolution. The fans are still divided. The theories are still flying. The silence is still deafening, and deep in that silence is the one truth no one can shake. Whatever's coming next, it's already in motion. So here we are, weeks after the leak, deep in the aftermath, and still no closure. What started as a mysterious 7-word rumor turned into a digital hurricane of decoded bars, twisted clues, fan betrayals, and a 42-second audio file that flipped everything upside down. Durk never confirmed anything. No official post, no press statement, no lawyer press conference, just a verse raw, sharp, and strategic that hit the internet like a warning shot. And now we're all left asking the same thing. Was this ever about a release date, or was it always about control? Some believe March 15 was a myth. Others believe it was real until it got sabotaged from within. And then there are those who think the verse was phase 1 of something bigger. But here's what we know for sure. Lil Durk has the power to hijack the internet without ever logging in. The silence, that was the rollout. The rumors, that was the marketing. The chaos, that was the message. And in the middle of it all was us. The fans, the believers, the skeptics, the ones decoding posts at 3 a.m., hunting lyrics, breaking down waveforms like detectives. But now it's your turn. Drop a comment right now. Speaking, are you still riding with March 15? Brain, do you think the verse was the real release? Fire, or are we still waiting for the real drop? Hit that like button if this saga had your head spinning. Subscribe if you need part 2 when the next twist drops. And don't forget, in this game, silence speaks louder than confirmation. Stay watching, stay decoding, and as always, stay dangerous, because whatever's coming next, it's already in motion.